One of the reasons I've asked these folks to come is they just had the experience of being at the profiler training event. But I also wanted you to see people. You, as you're watching this, I want you to see people and the type of people that are attracted to this, because it's very important that we curate this community intentionally and we attracts like. And so I've asked a cross section of some of our students and some of the alumni to come and talk about some of their experiences so that we can basically have the right people attracted to this experience of profiler training. So I've got Melissa, Ari, Tom, Jen, and Klaus. Everybody here went to the live event just 2 weeks ago, except for Klaus. He's in Germany. He didn't come to the live event, but he also has been working with us for like, what, million years or something like that, Klaus. He's been working with us for a long time. He's one of our in-house profilers. He works here on the team with us. I invited him to come because he's been here for a while. And so some people are brand new. They just came through profiler training, and some people have been here for a long time. In fact, they work with us on the team. And I thought it'd be a good cross-section. So let me just start real quick here. Why don't I start? I'm just going to let the Zoom gods decide this really quick. And I don't have a ton of time to spend on this. I'll kind of keep good time because I want to get to some of the content about deep reading people in a moment and some of the other things we want to share. Let me slow my energy down just for a moment. Hi, Melissa. Why don't we start with you? Melissa, what is your best fit type? Where are you at in the world right now?
Hi, I'm Melissa. My best fit type is INFJ, and I live in Richmond, Virginia.
Richmond, Virginia. Fantastic. Paint us a picture. What is profiler training like from your perspective as an INFJ from Richmond, Virginia?
Other than amazing, wow. It's really hard to summarize what profiler training is like because there's just so much. When I joined, my initial reason for joining was really the information, because I'm low-key obsessed with MBTI and personality and everything else. And so, and in starting the course, that's what I got, like the material, so deep, so fascinating, the monthly calls, all of that. But I was really surprised with, I mean, you were kind of kidding earlier, but the value added, but wait, there's more. There's just always more. And so once you've done the class, you have access to those monthly calls indefinitely. You have access to the summit. And then there's a live event, which talk about value added. Incredible, super busy days around people with like minds, super fascinating. And then on top of that, there was the bonus day that was super. I'm sure Ari and I will be discussing this in a minute, with brain scans and all sorts of other stuff to geek out about. So when I first signed up for profiler training, I remember that I was like, I just don't know if this is going to live up to what I have in my mind. Like, I had painted my NI picture of what it could be, and I was like, it's not gonna be that. But it blew it away. Like, it was even better. And how often does that happen?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, no pressure on us now. Thank you. I gotta keep delivering. Thank you for that. Actually, great experience. I probably will come back to you and like put a pin in you for a moment because I want to hear from some other people briefly. Thank you for expressing that. I do want to go to the other INFJ here, Jen, and I'm doing this for a specific reason. Hi, Jen.
Hi.
I just blew the type. You're going to tell us what you are, and your name, I guess. But Jen, INFJ, where are you from, Jen? I'll at least ask you that.
That's all right. I'm from Cobourg, Ontario, Canada. And
Canadian.
Yeah, it's a little ways away, but so I joined years ago. So I'm in the November 2019 class originally, and then COVID, et cetera. But I became obsessive pretty quickly. You guys hooked me on pretty quick and joined the profiler training. Honestly, like Melissa, I just wanted to deep dive. Like, I just wanted to know more. I wasn't sure I wanted to profile. I didn't know if that was even going to be in my future, what that would look like. And it was actually a stepping stone for me to get into therapy. So I'm right now training to be a psychotherapist, master in psychology. Wow. And so this was a really great stepping stone for that. And it's opened up so many doors in that way. Is like, I guess it instilled a lot of self-confidence in me. In our live calls every month was really nice to be able to share that. So that was a value add that I wasn't anticipating. Yeah. And yeah, it just like, I've been bit by the bug, and you can't get unbit, I guess.
Yeah. The reason I mentioned I was going to go to you as a second INFJ is because supposedly I mean, the stats are that INFJs are very few and far between as the least represented type. In my world, that is not the case. It's the inverse of that. I would say there's a ton of INFJs in my world. Not only is my mom an INFJ and Antonia's, but in our community, there's tons of you people. And so I just wanted to highlight the fact that it's people that I think are often misunderstood or they kind of are the weirdos, the misfits in life that are obsessed with this kind of stuff, end up coming into this ecosystem. I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth, but I would argue that it's beneficial to be around like minds like that. And you're
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, a breath of fresh air, honestly. And to be able to meet other INFJs in person this last May, it was fascinating to get like a cross section, because I don't have any other INFJs in my life. I have a lot of ENFPs as it stands. Yeah, it is. It's actually very good for me. But ultimately, meeting other INFJs like Melissa was really fascinating to see how other people of the same type show up, right? And that differentiation helps with profiling. It helps with understanding yourself. Like I really enjoyed that element of it too, and other types, of course.
Okay, thank you for that. I might come back to you in a moment here. I want to go to Tom. Tom, what is your best fit type?
Hello, Joel and Antonia. My best fit type is an INTP, and I'm coming to you live from Locust Grove, Virginia.
Ooh.
Just back from the live event in Pittsburgh. What an awesome experience that was.
Great.
And for me, the journey started when my life I've spent decoding complex computer systems and architectures, but simple conversations with people were sometimes a bit challenging. And I decided, well, there must be a framework, something I can use to better communicate with people. And I'm listening to these things on nonviolent communications and just digging in all over the place. And all of a sudden, Joel and Antonia come on YouTube and they're describing INTPs and they're completing my thoughts before I can even finish thinking them. So I found my connection. I found my understanding to a framework. And I applied in January 23 for the profiler program, really expecting to better understand other people. But when we went through all the dichotomies that make up different personalities, it became a pretty fascinating look at myself. Ooh. And very much showed up as a different experience, a better, more complete experience that I went in expecting to happen.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that, expressing that it was, you thought, I mean, I'm guessing you also got some tools to talk with other people, but it really became a thing of like, oh, I see what I'm doing. I see why I'm showing up in a way.
Yeah. And I'm just glad I was able to get over the nerves to show up there.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that really helped me, and I'm sure it helped others there, was when you started the event, you started it with getting people comfortable with the environment. Yeah. I was a bundle of raw nerves going into that thing. And within a few hours, I felt like just really comfortable around people that weren't judgmental. It was an international community that came together and really just wanted to understand personality. And it was just an amazing experience.
That's awesome. Thank you very much for saying that. I might come back to you in a moment to briefly touch. We got to keep rolling though, for time's sake, because I want to get to this deep reading people stuff. And I have two more people to handle here. So let's go into it. Klaus, what's your best fit type, Klaus, and where are you coming from?
Hello, my name is Klaus. I'm an ISTP and I'm originally from Germany.
Originally from Germany. You actually work with us here on the team. So I don't know if you can remember back to your first profiler training, or if maybe you want to talk more about using this in a professional fashion, because you basically went through profiler training and now you've connected it and you professionally profile people. So I'll let you speak to either the event or however you want to speak to stuff. You want me to ask you a more direct question, but you might have some things to say already.
Yeah, I can just, I guess, just talk and see what comes up. That's something that, as I've embraced my co-pilot of Sensation fully, it's like I trust the moment much more, and I just trust that whatever wants to be spoken through me will speak through me now. And yeah, I wrote down from the slides, like practice, feedback, community. There's so many things to talk about, but what stood out to me as I was thinking was like the skills that I learned that I wasn't ever anticipating, like all the things that you learn by actually profiling that you didn't even know you didn't know, if that makes sense. Like for me, like I thought I was this like weirdo with people, and then once I actually got into the practice of profiling, I realized I'm a really good listener. And I kind of knew that, but I didn't know how much of that was true. And like that's just one of like hundreds of examples where I realized things about myself that I didn't anticipate, which doesn't only include like strengths I didn't know about. It's also like not necessarily weaknesses, but all like realizing all the things I didn't know, and like the humbling part of the experience of learning to profile, like all the things where it's like you also couldn't anticipate that were difficult about this thing that you only really realize when you actually do the thing. Like in theory, it's quite easy, but then you do it and you come across like 10 new things that are really difficult to handle in the moment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what I hear you saying is that by putting this into deliberate practice, it really highlighted you got to know what you didn't know. It highlighted the things that you were, the missing pieces that your theory was just like painting over, maybe brushing over quickly, but you're like, no, actually that's something that maybe I am really good at, or maybe I need to work on that. You got real clarity for the real, the tangible.
Yes, and then like also like understanding more about me and like opening up new worlds, even outside the personality hacker like world, like realizing this present moment stuff got me into different like psychotechnologies they are called, so like meditation with people, and like it opened me up, like it was a gateway into like so many other things that I don't think I would have found without having found profiler training. So it's like for me it was one of the entry drugs into like the spiritual realm as well, I think.
That's awesome.
Great.
Thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for being on our team and
Yeah.
being one of our professional profilers. I'm going to move on to Ari. I might circle back here in a moment. Ari, best fit
Hello.
type, where are you coming from? Ari,
best fit type ENFJ. I'm in Arlington, Virginia. I didn't realize, honestly, how many of us were in Virginia from this call.
Taking it over.
Yeah, but that's what we're doing. Not Canada. Canada, the Canadians are coming for us, though, normally at these events. That's one thing that you'll get at the event, a lot of Canadians, which is a really great thing, though, because they're all really nice. So I, kind of similarly, actually, to what Melissa and Jen were saying, when I first joined, was kind of for more information to deep dive into, because leading up to that, I had been binging the podcast hard. I've probably listened to the vast majority of the episodes, taken notes on a lot of them, and I was running out of content. And so that was kind of what got me hooked, and wanting to do the event was just being able to consume more of that, but also have people to talk to about it while learning, because there were a lot of things I wanted to talk about and not very many people who wanted to hear about it or could even try to keep up with what I was talking about. So definitely just the ability to learn about this thing that actually was so exciting to me, I get excited about learning about different things, but it can burn out quickly if if I'm hitting a wall. And this was one thing that no matter how much I consumed, there was always more. And almost the more you learn, the less you know, because there's just so much complexity and nuance there. So there's no way to get bored. You just keep consuming. And getting to meet a group of people who also are addicted to this the same way you are, in a healthy way and stuff, is something that like you don't really realize like what that impact on your life is going to be until you experience it. And I think even just the Q&A sessions before the live event, those were always great, because it was like, oh my gosh, look at all these people, we're all doing this thing together. Also, I'm sure like no one's going to act like we weren't all really excited to meet the two of you. I know that the first day of the conference, when Joel walked out in his sunglasses and looked like celebrity Jesus, I was like, oh my God. But the live event itself is something that also, like Melissa said, it's not really something that you can put into words. It's something that you absolutely have to experience. I mean, I can personally say for myself that I've never experienced the level of depth and connection in my life that I've experienced at these events. And Pittsburgh, this was my third event now. That's the other thing. Also, Melissa mentioned this, you can do all these other programs after you've gone through profiler training. And if that wasn't already good enough, like it keeps getting better too. There's more. And that just means you get to keep coming back and seeing more familiar faces that you've connected with from around the world, but also meet a ton more people who also love this thing that you love, and watch yourself experience massive amounts of growth between each of those. Like I've seen huge transformations in my own life in the time between each of these events. And I think that the impact I've been able to make in some of like my relationships with my family or with friends or even at work, just by having this better, more thorough understanding than I even felt like I maybe already had of people. It's just been like, I said a lot of words, even though I keep saying like, there aren't words to describe. But those are the words I guess I would try to use to describe that.
You're doing great. I'll end with everybody here because I know we want to move on. I'll just give you a brief moment to share this for each of you. I'll start with you, Ari, and we'll just go backwards from where we started. If someone's right now trying to make a good decision about possibly joining this program, how can they be wise about thinking about this? Like, if you have any wisdom or any thoughts around making a good decision?
I would say if you really value personal growth, and if that had anything to do with the reason that you got hooked on this stuff in the first place, I don't think that there is a better thing for you to invest in. I don't know that I would have gotten to the point that I feel like I've reached now without any of this. And if I had, it would have taken me way longer. So if you value personal growth, like seriously consider this. If you value connecting with people, or maybe need a little nudge to connect with people because the people around you maybe aren't the ones that you want to connect with, this is a really wise decision to make. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's that's my advice. I just think that there aren't any reasons I would say this is not a wise decision.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ari.
Thank you very much. Klaus, do you have any comments on somebody? You know, each of you are different types. You might resonate with different people. So from an ISTP's perspective, what are some things to think about? How do we be wise about this?
It's again my co-pilot. I had this phrase come up: trust your gut. Like there's probably a reason you're here, and just trust that maybe. And and then also just like I already noticed it, like 5 minutes into this, like there's an energy, like the community stuff, like there's an energy, my energy shifts already. It's like, oh yeah, like I've not met any of the other panelists at a live event, but I already feel that energy from the live events I attended, which was earlier. And yeah, so that community part as well, that you might feel it as well. And yeah, trust your gut in that, maybe.
Great.
Yeah. Thank you, Klaus. Yeah, there is a vibe, isn't there?
Yeah.
There's this like this profiler training vibe.
I think I'm feeling it too with the pale going. Okay, yeah. I gotta keep moving. Sorry for time, everybody. So sorry. Tom, advice. Do you have any? No,
my driver is accuracy. I'm very data oriented. So I had a whole list of reasons why I shouldn't go to the live event. And I was completely wrong. The experience was exceptionally powerful. And I learned things about myself and about how other people personalities show up. And the Appalesque one more thing for me was the community. The community has been there for me and for each other after the event's over. And that was just exceptional to me. So whatever fears, uncertainty, and doubts you have, I can tell you that I am just glad I made that final push and showed up, because it was worth it.
We are too.
Thank you, guys.
We are too. And Jen, if you had advice to give.
Sure. Tom, I'm glad you did too. It was a pleasure to meet you. So ultimately, be ready to grow and to challenge yourself in your growth. And if you're in that place where you're ready to be challenged in that, the community is so supportive in that challenge. There was a large gap between the time that I originally consumed the content, of course, continued to listen to podcasts, and attended the live event. And I didn't know anybody, like nobody from my class was at the live event. And yet immediately, I mean, I think you guys noticed it too, I was immediately pulled in to the energy, immediately pulled into any sort of hesitation around whether it was the right time and place for me to go. And, you know, obviously time and resources are time and money are resources. So make sure you have that available. And I highly recommend going to the live event if you do decide to sign up. But personal growth, if you're into that, whether you want to do profiling or not, this will open so many doors. So yeah,
That's great.
what I can say. Yeah.
Thank you. And then Melissa, take us home. I need last minute advice before we finish this part.
I guess at the end of the day, like Antonia is always saying, this really is a psyche to psyche experience. And so there's only so far you can go without being plugged into a community who is also interested in all of this and also interested in personal growth. And so just just do it.
Good advice. Thank you. Honestly, thank you. I think it's really good stuff.
Yeah.
And thank you all for being here tonight.
Yes.
I know you're giving a gift to
Yes.
people that are with us, watching, and giving a gift to us.
You're giving a gift to us too.
And you're signaling the type of energy that we want to curate and keep going. And so all of you have much gratitude for. So thank you so much. Appreciate your time, your talents, your energy, your attention. Have a great rest of your day. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for being here.